A man is accused of pointing a gun at a 6-year-old who left candy at the wrong door on Long Island, New York.
I can't even imagine the poor child and the poor parents.
The kid's mom says she drove him and some other kids to what they thought was a friend's house Saturday. He and his older sister got out of the car, rang the doorbell, and left a surprise goodie bag of candy on the porch. When they realized it was the wrong house, they went back. Cops say the 6-year-old boy ran to the porch for the candy when the 43-year-old man opened the door, pointed a gun at his head, and threatened him.
It's horrifying in any neighborhood and unacceptable.
That man was in court Sunday. He's facing charges including endangering the welfare of a child.
So you mean to tell me you're gonna point a gun at a 6-year-old and fucking make a threat, but not even apologize for doing it or show some kind of sympathy? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's a mistake, it was an accident. Yeah, I know a lot of stuff is going on. People are stressed out or whatever like that. But at the same time, you shouldn't be pointing no gun at no fucking body. Definitely a little kid, bro. Like, you got to be seriously messed up in the head to just do that, and then to make a threat after that. Like, how does that work? You know, how does that make sense to anybody?
911 emergency. There's a baby on the ground. It looks like the baby is having a seizure. He was left in the car. Did you see anybody around them? Yeah, his dad, and it was like somebody came to CPR. Can you see the baby from where you are? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am. How does the baby appear to be? It looks like he's about a year and a half old. Okay. And can you see him breathing? I'm not sure. They're doing CPR. Who is doing CPR? One of the parents? Looks like it's a Samaritan, and it's Samaritan. Okay, I believe we do have people on the line, okay? But I want to get as much information, okay, from you. So, we don't know if the baby's breathing, correct? I'm sorry? We don't know if the baby's breathing. It's under a All right, I didn't hear the officer, okay? He's requested our ambulance to get started, okay? We have them on the way. Thank you.
The call came in from a shopping center parking lot roughly 7 minutes after the father, 33-year-old Justin Ross Harris, left work at the Home Depot campus. Witnesses said he was hyperventilating and screaming while he pulled his child's lifeless body from the car. But what had led to this horrifying moment? On June 18, 2014, Harris strapped his son, 22-month-old Cooper, into his rear-facing car seat in the back seat. The father then drove from their Marietta, Georgia home to a nearby Chick-fil-A. Afterward, instead of dropping the child off at his daycare minutes from the restaurant, Harris continued to the Home Depot corporate headquarters where he worked. At 9:25 a.m., the 33-year-old parked and left Cooper strapped in his car seat. Later that morning, Harris and some co-workers left to go to lunch. Upon returning at approximately 12:45 that afternoon,
I have to rewind. You know, people like this is very irritating. Just because you see this going on and you wish you was there so you can, you know what I'm saying, do something about the whole situation, because he left his kid in a hot ass car a whole fucking work shift and didn't give two about if his son was okay. You supposed to take your kid to the daycare, my boy. Why you got your baby in a hot ass car? Unsupervised, no ventilation, no nothing. Just a raggedy ass parent in my eye.
the man went to his car and put away some light bulbs he had bought during the lunch break. Harris allegedly didn't notice the child still in the back seat. Sometime after 4 p.m., when the father was driving toward a theater where he was supposed to see a movie, Harris said he noticed his son. Meanwhile, the child's mother, Leanna, was already headed to the daycare where her husband was supposed to have dropped Cooper off. According to witnesses, she immediately presumed the child's father had forgotten him in the car when she found out the baby wasn't there. Investigators believe Cooper died before noon, having endured temperatures exceeding 100 degrees. Harris was arrested on the scene. In February 2016, Leanna Harris filed for divorce, an unexpected move since she had believed the doting father was incapable of intentionally harming their child. A month later, 8 new charges were filed against Harris, including 2 counts of sexual exploitation of children and 6 of disseminating harmful material to a minor. The trial was scheduled for April 11, 2016, when jury selection began. However, the high-profile nature of the case caused many potential jurors to be biased toward guilt. So the accused lawyers requested a venue change. The judge agreed, and the trial was moved from Cobb County to Brunswick in Glynn County, where it began in October 2016. Prosecutors argued that Harris's behavior was intentional and that he left his son in the car on purpose. They presented evidence that Harris had researched the effects of hot cars on children and even participated in online discussions about how to survive in prison. Jurors were also presented with the heart-wrenching testimony of Cooper's mother, who tearfully recounted her final moments with her son. In his defense, Harris's attorneys argued that the death was a tragic mistake and that Harris had simply forgotten that his son was in the car. They showed that Harris had been under significant stress at work and had become distracted. They argued that the explicit messages with other women were a symptom of Harris's addiction to pornography, not an indication that he had intentionally harmed his son. Prosecutors claimed that in one of the chats, held on the morning Cooper was last alive, Harris posted, "I love my son and all, but we both need escapes." It sounded like a motive. And after 70 witness testimonies, ultimately the jury agreed. Justin Ross Harris was found guilty of all charges: murder, cruelty to children, sending sexually explicit messages to a minor, and lying to police. He was sentenced to life in prison plus 34 years. He would get credit for the 2 years already served. As it turned out, the story did not end there. 6 years later, the Georgia Supreme Court overturned Harris's murder conviction after it found that some of the evidence presented during the 2016 trial was excessive and unnecessary. This evidence, particularly surrounding Harris's affairs, may have unfairly influenced the jury's decision and created a bias against the accused that went beyond what was relevant to the case. His defense argued that his son's death was an accident rather than intentional. Despite this, the court upheld the sexual crimes charges against Harris, which he did not contest. He will remain in prison for these. His ex-wife said she felt vindicated by the Supreme Court's decision since Cooper's father was wonderful and loving towards the child, but a terrible husband.
Well, it's a good thing he got convicted. It's a good thing she filed for divorce. Man, then Brody was a sexual, predator, whatever the fuck. He's just a sick individual is what I'm going to say. A very sick and disturbed individual. People like him, we just going to call him sick and disturbed because hearing some of these details of the things they did, and I know we didn't get into the full details, but goddamn, bro, you sick. You need some help, man. You gonna kill. Talk about you and your boy need a break. Man, that boy's only 1.5 years old. Now, your old ass could have took your break however you want to take it. But a 1-year-old don't know shit, or a 2-year-old don't know shit about taking a break. They always on the go. You know what I'm saying?